I've done this with literally asked thousands and thousands of people over the years. When do you get your best ideas? On the loo? Exercising? Wait, shout so I can hear you. In the shower? Gardening? During breakfast? Driving a car? Swimming? Cycling? Relaxed? What was that? In airplanes. Funny, me too, especially before they take off. I don't know why. Well, I do, but it was strange until I did. So like I said, I've asked thousands of people this question. Top 3 answers: in the shower, traveling to and from work, on holiday. Always, almost always in situations where the person's not thinking about the thing that they're trying to figure out. And all that's happening is when we have a capacity for insight and realization, and it arrives when our mind is relatively at rest, when we're not preoccupied, when we're doing something else, when we're in the flow of doing something else. And it's funny, there's a book called Strategic Intuition by a guy called William Duggan, who's got I think the chair for management studies at Columbia Business School. He wrote this book, and what he was looking for is what is it what's the source of strategic insight? So what he saw, he looked at everyone from the Netflix guys to the people who started like Apple and Microsoft to people like Napoleon and Clausewitz. And what he found in every case, there were 2 pieces to it. The first was they consumed a huge amount of data. So Napoleon, in the days before battles, would study maps and accounts of other battles and that sort of thing. And then at a certain point, he would just walk away from it. He'd, go to the pub or go for a walk or whatever. And then he'd have what he called a strike of the eye. Like, I know what I'm going to do. He'd have an insight. He'd have a realization. He would see something that was already true, that was already possible. Same with, there's a story about Steve Jobs, the creator of Apple, or the co-founder of Apple. He was being interviewed after one of the big successes. I think this is his kind of comeback to Apple and the success of the Mac. And he was being interviewed about it, and the reporter said, "What are you going to do next?" And he said, "I don't know." And the reporter was flabbergasted because he's speaking to a strategic genius, right? He's like, "Well, what are you going to do about that?" And Jobs said, "I'm going to wait until I know. I'll wait until I know." And he used to, go out for walks and meditate and do what he knew to do to find his way into an insight-friendly space. And what came next was iTunes and iPods and the iPhone and Apple becoming the most profitable company on the planet at the time. So what I'm suggesting is that these examples I've given are examples where people had availed themselves of a capacity that we all have. We all have it, because if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be able to walk, you wouldn't be able to talk, you wouldn't be able to have learned to do any of the things that you do on a daily basis without even thinking about it, whether it's riding a bicycle or driving a car or anything like that. Like, who drives? Everyone here drive? A lot of people drive, whether you drive or ride a bicycle. If you're able to drive with fluency through traffic, that relies on a huge amount of embodied understanding about how the vehicle works, about your position on the road, and all that sort of stuff, but you're not even thinking about it consciously. So it's what they call unconscious competence. Well, you go from having conscious competence to unconscious competence through insight and realization. That's how it happens. So you all have it. We all have it available to us.
Thanks for your attention. I look forward to seeing you soon.